nature journaling, our journey. I just wanted to share a few things. Hey there. Hey Andy, let me turn this thing. This is my pajama day, school day. I've been thinking about doing the scope ever since I found out. Hey Jamie, ever since I found out about Periscope and what I could share, and it feeds through. Hey Julie, nice to see you. Oh Sarah, I didn't know your name. Chuck and Honey. I like everybody's names. And especially your Sparrow in my pocket. That one is so cute. So I'm going to try, if I have to cut it short, I really need to be warned if homeschool happy hour is coming on, because I don't want to get in the middle of that. I'll just stop and do a part 2. So, hey Selena, I want to share, I was just going to share practical, like this is what we do and how we do it, and our journey, how it's evolved, how our nature journaling has evolved and is still evolving and will probably always change for the better, hopefully, because it is a lifestyle, it is a journey, the Charlotte Mason education, to me anyway. Hey Jess. And but then after hearing Leah talk about the book that she had read about scars, about art scars, and people's talked about writing scars, and listening to everybody's scopes, and I just thought I'd share a little bit about that too. So let me introduce myself. Hilda Rebecca. I'm mostly on Instagram. Yes, I have it in my Amazon cart, but anyway. Hey Leah. So on Instagram, H5 Manriquez, just like here, that's where I mostly am. Join Homeschool Scopes TV if you are here and a homeschooler, and if you are of the Charlotte Mason bend or interested in it, or even just want to hear some great scopes. Check out the Charlotte Mason show. So I'm going to try to get started. Oh, welcome replay viewers. I always forget to do that. And check your followers. I did it right before I got on. I forgot to do it before I watched Rock Your Homeschool this morning, and I invited followers and went back and saw I had 3 more that joined overnight, and I felt bad about that. Anyway, Charlotte, you're about 2.5, 3 hours from me. That's great. And if you go to the NCHE convention, I might see you there. So, my poor daughter. I'm going to have to hang up on her and call her back. I'm going to text her. On Periscope. I know she's just checking in, and I hate not to answer, but I don't want to make you wait. She had school and working out and all kinds of stuff today. So, about our journey, I have been, yes, she will. Oh, okay, she says. I have been baby steps. I told Leah, baby steps with our education and learning more and more about the Charlotte Mason education for 16 years now, and have adopted it even more so for my own self, as well as my children, and I'm looking forward to continuing my own education after I need to just turn this over. Stop reading that. Dina, I didn't know you scoped. She's my friend. You're a local friend. Yay. Anyway, we'll have to talk about that later, Dina. It's sad that the fear of doing it poorly can stop us from even starting. And I had a very, I think it's a different, I also have an art scar from art class in school. I was much older. I wasn't 6 like you, Leah. But mine has to do with, I mean, I feel like that I have some artistic talent. I know I'm not you know, like an artist. Like I can't, I probably can, but I've lost it and haven't practiced coming up with my own stuff and my own, yes, and how it fits with your own family. And for me, a lot of it's me personally, how it fits with me and for my learning as well. And I can copy stuff. Like I can look at a picture and I can, yes, yeah, I can copy it and draw it, you know, but as far as coming up with my own imaginative thing, like out of nowhere, yes, yeah, we can talk about that sometime, tell you what we did. But out of something just that I imagine on my own is very hard for me to do. But when I was little, I used to draw. I was telling a friend I used to draw a made-up family of mice that lived in my wall. And what they used, that they sort of like the borrowers, but it was mice. And I used to draw this on paper. Well, I used to not be able to copy a picture. I actually went to art class, and that's what I was going to show you, but I forgot to draw that. I went to art class, and the teacher showed me how to do like a grid like this. Yes, that's right. Like a grid like this on top of the picture, like take tracing paper and then draw one square at a time, and that helped. You know, but I really, really like Leah's solution of using tracing paper until you build confidence. So don't let what did you say, Leah? Don't let the fear of the sketch stop you or what have you. But I felt like I could draw, you know, okay. I didn't feel like I was a wonderful drawer. I didn't feel like I was a yeah, don't sweat the sketch. There you go. I didn't feel like I was a horrible drawer. I felt like I had some God-given talent and enjoyed it. But I had a different scar. Mine had to do with being colorblind. And it's something that, you know, it may surprise people to know with the art that I post on Instagram. But I am, and I like it because my daddy was, and I always liked that we had that thing in common, and it's rare in a woman. I do have red-green color blindness. When I went to the eye doctor, and when I went to the eye doctor and I took the colorblind test, and nobody ever told me I was colorblind. I see colors, but I just see them a little differently, the reds and greens and grays and stuff. The lady was just made me, yeah, and my sister and I are both colorblind. So it's really weird. So she made me take the test again because she said she'd never seen a woman that had color blindness. But I take the test all the time, and I promise you I can't see the numbers on there. So that's been my struggle. So even though I could, you know, I could sketch stuff, I hesitated putting color in my journals for years because that was a flaw. And I actually had my son bring my my high school art class scar that, you know, I felt like I could draw a little and doodle. So, yeah, I wanted to take art class. That would be fun. And the teacher, I don't think she believed that I was colorblind. She didn't want to work within, like, help me learn how to learn art within my parameters that I have. I can't see some color. So, you know, you can, what do? I can't see it. It's not there. You hold up two pencils beside each other and they're the same color. I'm going to show you what I use. I have to read the color on the Prismacolor pencil to know what color to put on my paper. So I can match colors what I see. But what I see, I don't know if it's what anybody else sees. But it's my journal, so it's okay. I can put what I want. But let me show you real quick what I'm going to travel with this just a little bit and show you. I moved the modem so that it would be clear. So this is the picture of my dad. That's my daddy. And my grandmother that I was named after, that I took this into art class to do a batik. Yes, she did not want to work with me at all. And so we had to do a batik, and a batik is on a piece of fabric, and you draw out the picture, and then you've got to put dye on it, and you start with the lightest color and you work out to the darkest color. And I purposely chose, I mean, I'm colorblind, but that's a sepia tone picture. I don't see any color in that picture at all. Let me know if you see color, but I don't see any color in this picture. So, you know, to me, I thought I was safe because I picked out this picture. So this is my finished project, and I have it framed in an old window that was original to this house. That's an over 100-year-old window. But you can see the green. I was trying to finish the batik in sepia and what I could see, and my teacher made me. She would not give me an A in art and not let me pass the class unless I put that green in there. And then I didn't get it finished because I didn't know what I was looking at. So I have this, which I treasure, but then I see the green, and it's like, why did I let her make me do that on my art? So, but I still love it. It's still great. It was fun. It's the only batik I've ever done. Yeah, it's like there's green blobs on my memory. Yeah. But I still love it, and it's still great. And you can see her face is a little wonky, but it was fun. I mean, it was a very fun project to do. I enjoyed it, and I was pleased with my work, and then she made me put green on it. But I guess it's a good thing green is my favorite color, so it's not too awfully bad. And let me turn this around. So, yes, I agree, Andy. It's hard to do that, and like I'm working with Carter, who, my oldest son, his dad is definitely talented. He is hands down an artist. Here, since we're doing some show and tell, I will show you the very first project my son brought home from his art class when he was homeschooled. That's the first thing the boy drew in art class. So the boy's got talent. So now I'm teaching his son. Let me get back over here. And he is one of those artists that is very self-critical. You know, I have a tiny bit of that, but I'm like, nah, this is good. I'm proud of what I did. I'm glad I pushed myself. Yeah, Ruben's amazing. You know, but he's one, he won't let Jessica's still on here, if he sketches a picture of the children, oh, don't put my art on Instagram. It's not good enough. And it's like, give me that. It's gorgeous. It's great. You know, he's got that self-criticism, and Carter has a little bit of that, and I've had to, you know, I'm the best I know how trying to help him through that. He's like, Mimi, I can't draw a bird. I can't draw a bird. And I'm going to show you his journal and his progress too. So we would let him color some sheets, and just, you know, I'm like, well, look at the head. Draw the head first. Yes, Ruben's my oldest son, and I'm teaching his son. So he has the same type of, I can tell that Carter has the talent, like he's a budding artist. I can tell he's got it, and he is very self-critical. So I broke down, and I had seen a lot of people talk. I'm getting off subject, but hey, Carter, you're an awesome artist. I'm going to tell them about how we watched a bird video. Someone was talking about the John Muir's, I think it was the video about how to draw birds, and you know, he's 6, and this guy's going very detailed. But what we got out of that video, we watched it, and I could tell his eyes were glassing over, and like, I don't know what you're trying to show me, Mimi, but basically what we got out of that video was, do a circle where you think the head of the bird is, and then do the line the way you think the body of the bird is, and then like if the tail's up or the tail's down, you know, and the shape of the bird body. Like basically, I said, let's go with that, Carter. Let's just draw really light, just basically where you think the shapes of this bird are, and just go with it. So I'll show you later the journey of his journaling. I didn't think to let them trace to build confidence, Leah, but I'm going to let him try it sometime, next time we do nature journaling, and just see. But he's progressed so much this way. You know, I'll give him that option, though, and let him decide what he wants to do. So as far as me, I did everything just no color when I first started. But I wanted to share a couple of sources. You've probably seen these if you're in the nature journaling thing. This book really helped me. It's a very sweet fictional story about a mom who is thinking, a lot of you that are starting to think about nature journaling, about a mom who's thinking about doing nature journaling with her family and how she did it. And, you know, after I read this, I was like, oh yeah, well, we can do it that way. We'll get the clipboards and go outside. But we didn't like having another thing and having to tape it into a book. It just wasn't for us. But I like the encouragement of how simple it can be incorporated into your home, how the habit of nature study can be incorporated into a homeschool, into your daily life. So this book was very valuable for me for that reason. And then, like I said, I've been reading about Charlotte Mason stuff for years and trying, but I recently read this book, and it was like what I had been hungry for about notebooking. You know, it was like the feast. Everything I ever wanted to know about notebooking is in here, and all the encouragement was in here, and a lot of the reasoning for why we do the notebooks really just, you know, even though I had read, you know, Charlotte Mason, and she just puts it together and makes it so much clearer. Some of the things that she, you know, like I've said before in my scopes, I catch on to an idea and I go with it. And the idea of, you know, why we do nature study, lots of reasons. Leah gave several reasons, but I think of we see what we're seeing and we want to make a connection with it. So you observe it. When you look at it and take the time to slow down and focus your attention on that thing, like you can't not observe something if you have the challenge of trying to draw it. It just happens, you know. So you slow down, and when you're trying to get it onto the paper, you're taking the time to really observe it and to look at it, and you're making a connection and a relationship with it. And she talks about notebooking overall in here. And one of the biggest habits of a Charlotte Mason education and of to me, I think, of a fruitful life is the habit of attention. You know, you've got to take time to focus on everything in life, not just nature. So one of the things she says is imagination and attention. Imagination and attention are inseparable in the notebook pages. And especially, I really like this, to get the exact shade of a flower in our paints. Yeah, that's really hard for me to get that right color, because I really, you know, it's the color that I see. So when we take the time to really observe and then to put it and to record it, and we're forming a relationship with the creation, with God's creation, and with our world. We are, one of my favorite quotes in here, oh, this is another quote that I like, and it was from one of the Charlotte Mason, like her little extra writings that she did. Attention is the first step towards willing. And you know our motto, I can, I am, I will. So attention is the first step towards that, you know, forming of the will. I just love that. That was just a little extra. And so whenever you sit down the nature journal, you know, there's a lot of fast ways you can get stuff recorded in a notebook. But that's not the purpose that we have. To take the time to slow down enough. I like what she says. Today, we increasingly assume that doing things quickly and effectively is more important than doing them carefully, thoughtfully, and ethically. And I really love that yes, whenever we're nature journaling, I don't feel rushed. If I have to stop, I have to stop and I can come back to it. I don't feel rushed. If it takes me 5 minutes to do something quick and I feel this is what I want to record and I feel like this is all I want to put in my nature journal, that's fine. But if I feel like I need to take an hour to draw, it's okay. I can take, this is the living page. And I will read and reread this book along with her originals as much as possible. So whenever you do notebooking, and I know Leah's going to talk about the Commonplace book, that's another notebook, and there's several different notebooks, and we call it being a keeper. Like we're being a keeper when we keep these notebooks. So, but the rhythm, the notebooks, keeping notebooks will help us with the rhythm of doing things carefully and thoughtfully. And that's how my nature, it used to be when we first started, it was like, oh, you saw that, you've got to get it down in there and write down about it. And it was just the action of doing it. Yes, a treasure keeper. Yes, treasure keeper, because your notebooks do become your treasure because it's part of you. It's part of your thoughts and your ideas and your connections with what you've come across in life. So it was just the act of doing the nature journal in the beginning, and a lot of things with the Charlotte Mason method I've just grasped onto the doing, and I've reaped the benefits of it, but I haven't understood why we have been reaping benefits. But after reading this and other books and finding out more and learning more, you learn, oh yeah, that's why we're making connections. We're relating to what we're sharing. And then also, whenever you're, especially when you start where you are, and the children, she liked to say they learn along the way when they're little. Like I started something new with Carter that I sort of did with my younger children, but I didn't fully grasp it, and we did it more loosely and not as structured. We're starting with the geography of where we are. So we mapped our house. I'll go ahead and show you that in his journal, and I put it on Instagram. We mapped my house. So this is a map of our house. And then tomorrow, hopefully, since it's going to be a gorgeous day, we're going to map our yard. We're going to do it on a big sheet of paper and draw a whole map of the yard. Then we're going to go around the block and add the streets and the trees that we go visit. And we're going to spread out. We have a very small town. We're going to spread out until we have a map of a town. So he is going to be making a connection with the place that he is and where he is. And I don't know if any of you have heard of the author Wendell Berry. He's a new one that I've heard of the last couple of years. But he's quoted in this book and it talks about the importance of knowing your place and where you are. And he talks about, this is his quote, in my teens when I was away at school, when Wendell, I think, Wendell, yes, there you go, Valerie. In my teens, when I was away at school, I could comfort myself by recalling in intricate detail the fields I had worked and played in and hunted over and ridden through on horseback, and that were richly associated in my mind with people and stories. So it's not just the nature, it's the people and stories that we connect with. I could recall even the casual locations of certain small rocks. I could recall the look of 100 different kinds of daylight on all those places. Yes. I found out about them from Liz and Emily Cottrell. Anyway, he continues, the postures and, the look of animals grazing over them, the postures and attitudes and movements of the men who worked in them, the quality of the grass and the crops that had grown on them. I had come to be aware of it as one is aware of one's own body. It was present to me whether I thought of it or not. So that's about the connection with his home. And that's another reason to do nature study, to be connected to the creation and to what we've been given. So I'm going to share a little bit, and I'm going to make sure I'm going to share a little bit of our nature journaling. So this is one of my very early first ones. Now you can I'll hold it really close. You see just shapes. This was when I was still trying to sketch I thought, oh, I'm going to go out there and sketch the birds. Birds move, people. They move all the time. And I can't draw them if they're not sitting still. So that's when I started. I'm going to look on Google. I'm going to find a picture. I'm going to just, when I'm outside, I'm just going to enjoy the, yes, and see, that's something else I learned from here. I'm putting all my science, geography, anything, and we're going to have to stop calling it our nature journal and call it our science journal. And that's something I learned from this book, that there was a whole lot we could have been putting in our journals that we were just missing out on. So I'm very excited about that. I'll show you a couple of the things that we did. Okay, that's great. So that's when I started, when I was outside, instead of trying to sketch them, I would journal some, do more journaling. Like, I have a whole page of just journaling of what I was seeing. Good night. Yeah, good night, Leah. So this was another one. One Sunday morning I was sick and I just sat out on the front porch and tried to draw robins, and the little boogers would not be still. So that's when I said, you know, forget this. I'm going to look at the Google pictures. I don't know if Charlotte Mason would approve, but I really don't care because I can't draw them if they keep on moving. So, and everything I drew, like stuff like this that could be still, like the budding oak leaf, you know, I would do that, yeah. So, and I would just go sketch, just some of my early ones, just sketch really lightly. Yes, oh yes, I'd spend time observing them and enjoying them, and then whenever I came back inside and had the picture, you know, it was still my connection because I had seen this bird. I usually try to draw flowers from, now unless we've seen a flower that we can't pick or that we can't collect, then we'll still go, if we can collect the flower, we do try to draw from flowers just because I like to challenge myself. And that's just my choice, is to challenge myself and challenge my drawing, because I feel sort of cheated because I didn't get the encouragement whenever I took art in school. So this has all been on my own, you know, to try to like this is one of my really, really early ones, and it's just a squirrel was just watching me over the tree, just sitting up there watching me. I was laying on the grass looking up. And then my aunt, who was my 7th grade science teacher, the one I spoke of earlier that encouraged me to, you know, study and learn nature, we looked at stuff under the microscope. And because she was my 7th grade teacher, she made me draw it. So she made me draw what was under the microscope. And then, like a lot of journaling and a lot of just drawing the leaf. And I think I might have actually traced that leaf. I think I traced the shape of the leaf because I you know, it was very difficult for me to get the shape because I wasn't practiced. I had not drawn very much for years. So the more you practice at something, the better you get. So if you say you can't draw now and you start with tracing paper, the more you do it, the more you're going to become skilled. You're going to have muscle memory and you know, trace the leaf. And just try small, yeah, leaf, oh, that's something I'll show you that I did. We did a tree rubbing. But then it took going to vacation with my best friend, and the very first, so we went to the Blue Ridge Mountains in Georgia for a week. It was wonderful. We did nature walks, hiking, nature journaling together, and this was the first one that I did. And I said, you know what, Lynn, I'm going to attempt to do colors. Since you're here to cheer me on and help tell me what the colors are, I'm going to attempt to do color in my journal. So my first one I did half color and half pencil. So I was getting there, and I had never used watercolors, pencils, or watercolor. This was just regular. So I said, you know what, I'm going to try watercolor. So the next day I tried watercolor pencils, and this is a tulip poplar leaf, the first time I ever put watercolor pencils to paper. And this was last summer. This was in 2014. yeah, sometimes I don't have, I just want to remember the color, but I enjoy drawing it, so I just did some just so I can remember what color it was. But I needed someone with me to give me that confidence to help me know and we had never used, I had done some charcoaling in art class in high school. I don't even remember what she said. I'm not good at shading. I'm still trying to learn how to do that. It's stretching yourself, Andy. Like I said, my journals it's a journey. It's a journey for art, and it's a journey for nature study. It's a journey for life. So I had used charcoal, in high school, and I have some, and we played around with it, but we actually did this is the bark. We just said, oh, let's go see what it does on bark. So we did. So we had to take an extra picture, an extra page. So if you do charcoal in your journal, it's probably a good idea to keep an extra page because it will rub off. So that's the little one I take when I go somewhere. So then now I've got charcoal. Yeah, it is messy, but it's fun. Messy's fun. It's like finger painting with the kids. It's fun. So then I said, you know what, I'm going to try color some more. So we were studying earthworms, and I took a base and we made an earthworm house. I have it far back on my Instagram. And we covered it up with black paper for a while and put some leaves to decompose on the top like you're supposed to for an earthworm. And you're supposed to leave it for a while and then pull the paper off and see if you can see the runs where the worms have been crawling, and we did. So I did watercolor. It was brown and black. I figured I could do that, brown and black. Not too much colors, brown and gray and black. So I stretched myself and tried there. It's like, honestly, nobody ever told me how to use watercolor. I'm totally just winging it. And then, some half sketch, half color. So I'm getting a little bit more confident and trying some more things. And then I'd still go back to, then I'd still go back to tracing leaves every now and then if that's all I wanted to do and it wasn't a day to stretch myself and to try more. And then this little booger, black and yellow, very defined, no mixing of colors needed, black and yellow. So I did him first. So don't start with like the most difficult thing in the world to draw. Start with something simple. And somewhere in the far reaches of my memory, and I think probably with the same concept with the batik, the idea of starting with the lighter colors first, then doing the darker colors have stuck with me. So I've kept that practice. When I am doing color, I start with the lighter colors and go darker. So just that simple concept has helped me. And then I still have unfinished ones. So then I decided, so this is the last one I did that was just pencil and watercolor. But I have been seeing some gorgeous, wonderful feeds on Instagram where they use black ink. And I said, I'm going to try that. So I draw it with pencil, then I outline it with black ink, and then I did the watercolor. And this is the Baltimore Oriole. But I got overzealous with the black, and it's all black, and I want to redo him after I learn more. But it's like you can't. When I first had colored him, you could see more distinction. But it's, I want to go back and do him again after I learn some more. And then see, this is with the black. I did pencil, then black ink, and I decided I didn't want to color all the nests because just scared me, but I wanted to color the eggs. Yeah, this is the cowbird would drop his egg in smaller birds' nest. So I wanted to remember that, so I put it in my journal. I thought that was very interesting. We were reading the Burgess Bird book, and even though we didn't see these birds, we would still draw them because we felt like we had made a connection with them through the story. And yes, and my aunt was like, yeah, I didn't know that's why they called them cowbirds. And so we have decided, all of us, that it is impossible to draw a wasp nest. That's just a family conclusion. Just draw circles. So, you know, my attempt at a wasp nest, let me show you, I'll show you my son, because we were like, this is just not happening. You just, people can't draw, well, we can't draw a wasp nest. So, and my son, he attempted, let's see, where's his? It's so funny. We were like, oh, we're going to draw a wasp nest. It'll be easy. You know, we see them all the time. We know what they look like. We're going to do a wasp nest. And then we're like, nope, too difficult. Anyway, I'll show you when I show their progress. Just draw circles. Yeah, just draw circles and be done. And you have a wasp nest. It's so difficult. I don't know. Some things I just don't want to stretch myself in, and a wasp nest was one of them. I don't know. Yeah, they look more like hexagons. I have tried. And then we do stuff like draw right out of a book. Like this was out of a book that I read to Carter. We've drawn things out of the Nature Anatomy. And then I decided, like I was getting too, yeah, like a soccer ball. I decided I was getting too, like not relaxed enough when I was drawing. So I tried to do it a little lighter. I was getting too dark, like I was putting too much color. And you couldn't see, like with this little yellow, yes, trace it or tape a picture in your book. But honestly, I've seen enough wasp nests. We just wanted the challenge, and we're done. We're done with wasp nests. We see them enough. We have enough connection with them. So you see how it got blurry and the black sort of, and I was like, you know what, this is starting to look yucky. So I said, let me try lighter. Let me try doing it a little bit lighter and being a little bit more relaxed, a little bit, you know. So I did that, and I was pleased, you know, let it blur out of the edges just as long. Yes, it's a delight. This was a delight for me to do this. It was relaxing. Let it blur out of the edges. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be perfect. The goal is for me to remember what this bird looks like, to remember its shape, to enjoy making a connection with this bird and remembering what we've learned about it and its story while I draw it. It's not the perfection. I have a hard time with, you know, trying to, the type A, but I'm like, you know what, my journal is going to be a joy. So I relax. So this is another one. I just sort of did it brushy and a little blurry and didn't worry about being in the lines. And it was fun. It was fun. It was just fun. And I was having fun with color. And then I said, well, you know, got nervous again. And I said, well, I know what color the cardinal is. So we're just going to do some black lines, you know. So it's whatever I want to do. And the same thing with the. Well, let me show you. I haven't used this book yet, but I wanted to pull it out because people have said it's very helpful. So I'm recommending it on hearsay and not on actually using it. But drawing with children, I read the intro to this, and it said it's great for adults as well. So this is one that I have been wanting to peruse so that I can help my grandchildren with drawing and help myself as well, because there's a lot that I need to learn. There's still a lot I need to learn. So that book should be helpful. So, and then I read this wonderful book, The Living Page, and thought we can put other things in our journal. And so we did the compass, just because we were learning north, south, east, and west, so we did the compass. And Carter did it too. Let me see. So that's enough of the progression of mine. I am going to show you, like this last week, I did just a pencil one again. And the one thing I was going to say, I have goals. Like I know where I want my journal to be, and I'm working towards that goal. I'm working towards the Edwardian lady. But I haven't been very good about poetry or scripture or things like that in my nature journal. And oh yeah, yes, I think so. And that's something that I want to get to that place to where it becomes becomes natural to add more. I've done my journaling, I've done my drawing, now I want to pull in other thoughts and ideas into my nature journal. And that's I think that was a homeschool happy hour. So, yes, I'm going to sign off and come back and do a part 2 of this. And yes, I feel like I'm on my way. It feels like a journey to me, you know. So that was like 3 or 4 years of struggle, you know, that I just showed you. So I want to come back and show you my boys, and they said it was okay, and my grandchildren and how their journals have changed and evolved during the years. And they say they can't draw, but I want to share those with you and some of the new ideas we've done. So go enjoy Homeschool Happy Hour, and when it's done, I'll hop back on and finish, okay? Thanks so much for joining me.